All right, today we're diving into something huge, Pakistan's Ministry of Commerce. Think of it as the engine room, the government body that really shapes how one of the world's most populous nations does business with everyone else.
So, have you ever stopped to think about it? How does a country with, over 240 million people even begin to organize itself to compete on the world stage? I mean, that's a massive, massive challenge. You're talking about everything from setting taxes on imports to, believe it or not, promoting high fashion. And well, it turns out there's one central body trying to conduct it all. Okay, let's get into it. We're talking about the Ministry of Commerce, or as you'll often hear it called, the MOCOM. So what is it, officially? Well, it's a top-level cabinet ministry, and it's been around since 1973. Its entire focus, its whole reason for being, is to drive economic growth and manage all of the country's commerce. You can almost think of it as the central nervous system for all of Pakistan's trade.
And their mission statement really gets to the heart of what they do. It all boils down to trade for growth. Super simple, right? The goal is crystal clear. Make it easier to trade, sell more stuff abroad, and just slash all the red tape that slows businesses down. And that one simple idea, it's the guiding principle for everything the ministry does, and it's why they're set up the way they are.
So, you've got this huge mission. How do you actually make it happen on the ground? Well, the ministry has a bunch of different arms, and we're going to break down what each one does.
I think the best way to picture this whole thing is like a giant orchestra. The ministry is the conductor, right? And every single department is a different section. You've got your strings, your brass, your percussion. Each one has a really specific job, but they all have to play together to create one single, coherent economic symphony.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about the rhythm section. This is the part that provides the steady beat for everything else, the financial safety net. We're talking about huge players like the State Life Insurance Corporation and even the country's only reinsurance company. Now you might be thinking, insurance? Why is that so important for trade? Well, think about it. Without that solid foundation of insurance and financial stability, doing big business, making big investments, it's just way too risky. This part provides the confidence the whole system needs to run.
So once you have that stable foundation, now you get to the really exciting part, the departments that are all about pushing Pakistani products out into the world. You've got the government's main trading company, the TCP, and the big one for exports, the TDAB. And what's really cool is how specialized they get. There are entire groups just for things like horticulture. Their whole job is to get Pakistani fruits, vegetables, and flowers onto supermarket shelves around the globe.
But, every orchestra needs sheet music to play from. That's where the policy and rulemaking departments come in. A really key one is the National Tariff Commission. They're the ones who advise on import taxes. And maybe more importantly, they protect local industries from unfair competition, like when foreign companies dump super cheap goods to kill off the local guys. And then you have other bodies overseeing everything from trade organizations to really specific industries, like tobacco.
Now, this next bit is where you can really see the ministry's long-term vision. It's not just about the deals being made today, it's about building up the skills for tomorrow. So you've got a think tank and a training center in the Pakistan Institute of Trade and Development, but you also have these super specialized schools like the Institute of Fashion and Design, which are literally nurturing the talent needed to compete in the global apparel industry.
Okay, so we've met all the different players in the orchestra. Now let's actually look at the music they create together, the real-world policies that are shaping the national economy.
And this is where the rubber meets the road. You can see their strategy in action through these key policies. They're not just reacting, they're planning. There's a policy for the digital age with e-commerce, a big push into new markets with the Look Africa initiative, and a plan to shore up traditional strengths like textiles. It's all about being forward-looking, protecting local industry, and helping it grow.
And it's important to remember, this isn't some new endeavor. The ministry has been shaping trade for over 50 years. This here is just a quick snapshot of its leadership through all kinds of different political and economic eras, from Faisal Saleh Hayat back in the late 80s all the way to the incumbent Jam Kamal Khan. It really shows a continuity of purpose across the decades.
So, after looking at its mission, its structure, and its policies, what's the key takeaway here? And what does the future hold?
When you step back and look at the whole picture, it's pretty clear. From the financial bedrock of insurance to the fine-tuning of tariffs, and all the way to promoting niche exports like horticulture and high fashion, the Ministry of Commerce truly is the conductor of this incredibly complex orchestra that is Pakistan's global trade. It's a huge operation, all with that one single goal: trade for growth. And that leaves us with a final forward-looking question. In a world where supply chains are constantly shifting and new technologies like AI are changing the game, how will this 50-year-old ministry adapt its strategy? How will it change its orchestra's tune to keep Pakistan's economy competitive on an ever-changing world stage?